Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and I'd like to welcome you to the Practical Stoic Podcast, where I give you practical Stoic advice for modern times. If you'd like to learn more about Stoicism, or if you want some added inspiration in your day, just go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com. If you're interested in transforming your life with Stoic principles, then I also offer one-on-one coaching. To book your first free session, just head to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching and follow the links. But for now, enjoy this episode. Hi there, my name's Simon Drew, and welcome to the Practical Stoic Podcast. You know, whenever I'm reading Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, I find that there are a few types of phrases that lead me to immediately picking up my highlighter in anticipation of the brilliance that is about to reveal itself. These phrases usually sound something like, "This is what you should do if," or "When you are troubled, you should," or "If this happens, then you should do this." See, Marcus Aurelius has a beautiful habit of warning us when he's about to drop some serious truth bombs, and that's because he was writing to himself, so each of these phrases would have been somewhat of a title in his journal, and then he would go on to explore the subject in that title. And, you know, I was recently rereading my copy of Meditations, and one of these phrases came up, and I felt like what came afterwards was completely worth exploring in today's episode, because it's all about what we should prize in ourselves and in life. So, without going into much detail, I'll go straight into what he said. He said, quote, "What is it in ourselves that we should prize? Not just transpiration, even plants do that. Or respiration, even beasts and wild animals breathe, or being stuck in passing thoughts, or jerked like a puppet on your own impulses, or moving in herds, or eating and relieving yourself afterwards. Then what is to be prized? An audience clapping? No more than a clacking of their tongues, which is all that public praise amounts to, a clacking of tongues. So we can throw away other people's recognition. What's left for us to prize? I think it is this, to do what we were designed for. That is the goal of all trades, all arts, and what each of them aims at, that the thing they create should do what it is designed to do. The nurseryman who cares for the vines, the horse trainer, the dog breeder, this is what they aim at. And teaching and education, what else are they trying to accomplish? So that's what we should prize. Hold on to that, and you won't be tempted to aim at anything else." End quote. So there you have it, the Stoic definition of what we should aim at and what we should prize. You know, the world and our ego tells us that we should seek the approval of society, the applause of an audience, the recognition of family members or co-workers. The world teaches us that we will only really be satisfied when people show their appreciation or bow before us in recognition of our authority. But Marcus Aurelius offers us a different source of satisfaction. What he has suggested is that there is one thing that is truly worth admiring, and that is when we do our duty to the best of our ability, and when we carry out our purpose with consideration and dedication. I'd also like to point out that it's important to interpret this message in a modern context, because in the time of the Roman Empire, if you were born into a family where your father was a blacksmith, then it would most likely have been the case that you would become a blacksmith. You know, so much of your life was determined by where you were born or to which family you were born, and that's exactly the case with, say, Marcus Aurelius, who is doing the speaking here. He was born to be an emperor. And, you know, that's quite a contrast to today's modern societies, where it doesn't matter at all what your parents do. You are basically free to choose from an infinite list of career possibilities. And there are opportunities for us to all find out what we're really good at and then to follow that road. So, in that kind of context, I would take what Marcus Aurelius has said to mean that you should fulfill your own purpose to the best of your abilities, and that is what you should prize most in life. You know, a simple way to put it might be, whatever you do, do it well. Whatever your purpose is, fulfill that purpose with vigor and dedication. Whatever it is that you believe you were put here on earth to do it with all your might. That's what we should seek in life, and that's what we should admire. And moving on, I thought that it would also be really helpful for me to share the rest of the passage from Marcus Aurelius, where he explains what can happen when we admire other worldly things in life, like praise, approval, pride, and desire. He said, quote, "And if you can't stop prizing a lot of other things, then you'll never be free, independent, or calm, because you'll always be envious and jealous, afraid that people might come and take it all away from you. Plotting against those who have them, those things you prize. People who need those things are bound to be a mess, and bound to take out their frustrations on the gods. Whereas to respect your own mind, to prize it, will leave you satisfied with your own self, well integrated into your community, and in tune with the gods as well, embracing what they allot you, and what they ordain." End quote. You know, there's so much in that passage to think about, but I think that the most important part to focus on is where he says that you'll always be afraid that people will come and take it all away from you. Because there are things that are constant, and there are things that are always changing. Or in a Stoic sense, there are things that we can control, and there are things that we cannot. So if you tie your whole life and your emotions to a desire for fame and the approval of the crowd, then you'll absolutely 100% be disappointed and frustrated with life, because people are constantly changing. People's opinions of you will always change. Sometimes they'll love you and other times they'll despise you. So don't attach yourself to that. And on a similar line of thought, if you attach your happiness to having a lot of money or health or friends, then this will lead to a similar dissatisfied outcome, because these things can be taken away from you in the blink of an eye. But here's something that cannot be taken away from you: your virtue. If you will become the best person you can be, and if you will do your absolute best in whatever you do, and if you dedicate yourself to your purpose, then these are all things that can never be taken from you. Yes, you might lose your legs in a car accident, but you can still do your best at whatever you're doing. You may lose all of your money, but you can still be a hard worker. You might lose a friend, but you can still be a good friend. People may not pay attention to you, but you can still pay attention to other people and to your purpose. So cling to things that are constant, and admire only what is worth admiring. Be the best you that you can be. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Live out your purpose to the best of your ability, and stop focusing on who's watching and what they're saying and where they're saying it and how much money you're making or not making. Shift your focus. Prize virtue. Prize dedication. Prize discipline and courage. Prize gratitude and hard work and wisdom and education. This is the road that leads to the good life. Hey there, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practical Stoic Podcast. I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you so much for spending your time with me here and really spending your time developing yourself and growing and learning and becoming a better person through Stoicism. You know, doing this podcast has just brought so many beautiful things into my life and brought so many beautiful people into my life. And, you know, the thing that brings me the most joy as a result of doing this podcast is seeing how many people are actually changing their lives and improving and becoming better people as a result of listening to what I'm saying here. And so I just want to thank you guys for actually putting in the effort and for joining the community, you know, really becoming involved in that and emailing me and messaging me and talking to everybody on the community, because I think that that's so important. I think it's so great that how many people are coming together and having discussions and helping each other to become better. And so I want to thank you again and invite you, if you haven't joined our Facebook group, it's called the Practical Stoic Mastermind. And would really love to have you there. And if you haven't joined my email list on my website, just go to my website. It's risetothegoodlife.com, and you can join the email list there. And each week I'll be sending out a question, and you can answer that so that you can be on the Wednesday podcast. So anyway, I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you next time. But until then, I hope that this episode has helped you on your rise to the good life. Ciao. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Practical Stoic Podcast. I hope that you've gotten a lot of value out of it, and I hope that it helps you to live a better life. If you have enjoyed the podcast, then don't forget to subscribe so that you'll be the first to know when there are new episodes. If you really love the podcast, then I would appreciate a positive review, whether that's on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever else you listen. Don't forget that if you're interested in one-on-one Stoic coaching, then you can head to risetothegoodlife.com/coaching to book your first free session today.